Yo, what is up, boys and girls? The Mirko. Welcome to the official MSC 2025 tier list video. So we've got all the teams here, as you can see on your screen. We're gonna go and list every single team one by one. All right. So I'm also gonna be explaining why I think they deserve to be where they're at, where I place them. Reminder: this is my opinion. If you disagree, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. All right. Okay. You're free to criticize my opinions, and then I'll be free to bash you guys back in the comments. That's how freedom works. Anyways, all right, let's get things started. All right, first team here is TLPH, but you know what? I'm gonna go from bottom all the way to the top just to make things more interesting. So I'm gonna start with Area 77. Now, I really don't want to disrespect NA. I feel like usually they do well when casters, analysts don't think they will do well. So I personally will just go ahead and put Area 77 at GGNT. Not to say that they're bad. Again, it's just because, firstly, I don't think they are even prepared fully for this. They got it very last minute, They were informed very last minute that they were going to replace BTK. So it's a very, very tough last few weeks for them to prepare. Yes, they have a few experienced players in Joybodge, ISO, and Ureshi, but they're only experienced locally. Like Ureshi wasn't able to perform really all that well. He actually wasn't able to fly out and outplayed back in MSC 2023. So he's only had NA experience. Joybodge, same thing. He was one of the reasons why BTK couldn't fly to MSC 2023. So another ISO couldn't fly out because of Joybodge and because of their mid. I forgot their mid laner's name back in the day, but yeah, they don't have experience on the international stage. I think that's gonna hurt them, especially considering the meta right now is very it requires crazy discipline, requires crazy team fighting. You need a certain level of coordination to get out of groups even. So Area 77, I'm very sorry. I'm gonna put A77 at GGNT. Next is CFU Gaming. Now, CFU Gaming are actually really, really good. I expect this team to do really good this time around, guys. I think with the addition of Boxy the King and with OP moving from Rome to mid, it's actually strengthened the team a bit more. This is a team with a whole lot of potential already. We saw the potential, a glimpse of that potential at M6. Remember, a lot of people think about CFU and they just think, all right, they got knocked out on the Swiss stage. What's so important? What's so impressive about that? Well, they were able to almost beat SRG. If it wasn't for Innocent's play, CFU would be the ones to make it to the knockout stage. They were looking really good. Their brawls, their skirmishes are really, really nice. They have a way to bait out opponents, even the cleaner ones, like SRG at the time, to fight randomly. And that's their skill. With Boxy, a hyper-aggressive roamer, and with OP, the experienced roamer, experienced XP laner, jungle. This guy's played every single role, all right? OP. Plus, the team that they already had before, Detective, Sing, they're really good. I think mechanically, they're really good. I think they have a good shot at, getting Cambodia back to the top. So I'm actually not even going to put them in Dark Horse. I'm going to be putting them at A. Remember, we'll switch things over later after we see all the other teams. Maybe some don't deserve A. Maybe some need to get dropped down a bit. No worries. Next is Team Flash. All right. So Team Flash are coming in with the same exact lineup, except for their XP, who is now Ken. Ken is the main guy now because Diablo apparently had some issues during the course of the regular season. I think Flash has kind of downgraded without the Diablo. I'm not gonna lie. They got Zace, but I don't know. Zace coming into the team, I thought was going to make the team stronger, but so far, this is the worst Flash SG form we've ever seen coming into an international. Usually, they dominate MPLSG. Flash had a tough time qualifying to MSC this time around, so I am going to say that it's unlikely for them to recapture the success that they were able to, again, capture in last MSC, where they got top 4. I believe they were top 4. Yeah. Semifinals, they lost to SRG. I think Flash deserves to be B. I don't think they're GGNT just yet. I still think, Flash have some solid ways to win games, to get matches. They're not going to go undefeated. At least I hope they don't. Yeah, I'm just going to put Flash right here at B. Next is ONIC Philippines. Ooh. The meta isn't really looking too hot for them. It doesn't look too good for ONIC Philippines. King Kong's assassins and their hyper carry assassin playing for King Kong in the early game, like what they did at M6, isn't going to work as much anymore. I'm not too sure how King Kong does on utility now, because in the regular season, in the playoffs of MPL Philippines, the big kryptonite for ONIC Philippines has kind of always been putting King Kong on uncomfortable picks. Give him the Lucas, give him the Fredrin, give him the Baksha, and he just doesn't perform he doesn't perform to the level that he does on Assassins. He's so good on Assassins. We all know that if he gets his Assassins, I think he'll still be really, really good. I don't know how good he is on Yisun Shin. That's a big question mark right now. But yeah, utility jungle is kind of meta right now. I'm not too sure if MWI is a accurate reflection of how the meta game is going to play, because, again, we see a very big difference in level of skill in MWI. Here, it's a lot more close, so I think we are going to see more Bakshas and Fredrins, unlike MWI, where it's mostly just Assassins. But despite all that, they still have Kelra, they still have Super Friends, they still have an amazing roster, an amazing coach that can adapt to almost any scenario. So I'm going to trust them by putting them in S tier still. Despite everything I said, those doubts, I still think that they are good enough, smart enough to adapt to the current meta. So I'm putting them at S tier. Next is ONIC Indonesia. Lippy isn't really a rookie, but they got a rookie, Savero. Yeb is really good, obviously. Still, their drafts have been looking immaculate. Sans is back to form. Kyrie looks like he's back to form as well. Keyboy's getting there, slowly but surely. He's always been more of a risk taker, so he's never been super consistent. But we've been seeing those high highs from the past of MSC 2023 in MPL Indonesia Season 15 with the Keyboy moments. Do I think ONIC are better than ONIC Philippines? As of right now, I think Kyrie is a bit more proven on utility picks. I think he's a bit more flexible than King Kong when it comes to the meta. Sans has looked like an absolute beast. He's looked unstoppable, and I think that will translate over to an MSC performance, an MSC good performance. Savero has now had a few tournaments under his belt, so he has more experience now. He experienced getting dismantled by Kelra in Snapdragon Pro Series Asia. And he's experienced the entirety of MPL Indonesia. So I think Savero is at a point where he should be a bit more comfortable now. This is a hot take. You guys might not agree with me. I am Indonesian, so it's not really that much of a hot take for me. I rate ONIC ID really highly. I think they're a bit better than ONIC Philippines right now. Kelra might just, smackaroony me and ONIC ID, but we'll see. I'll put ONIC ID right there for now. RRQ Hoshi. Ooh. Again, I will repeat what I think about RRQ Hoshi, but the opinion remains the same. They are a team that does amazing through, again, early game. Their early game is probably the best. Out of all the teams here, I think they might have the best early game. Their setups in the early game are so clean. Yes, it's template. Yes, they are sort of intro boys, like you guys have mentioned in the comment section. But it doesn't mean that their early game is bad. It still points towards their early game being very, very good. Now, it comes down to how they've worked on their mid to late game. If they have fixed the errors that they have shown in the playoffs, if these individual players don't, again, go for moments to prove that they are better, but instead play around their strengths again, I think this team could actually go really far this tournament. This is a team still full of potential. A lot of you guys want to hate on RRQ, calling them local, which is true. They are a local team right now. They've only found success locally, but this is still a very young lineup. Most of these players debuted last season. Toy's debut was this season. I still trust in this lineup. I trust in Kesq. That guy's my GOAT. He's an amazing coach. Coach Jeb is GOATer, but he's my go-to because he's XBTR, by the way, Kesq. Yeah. I think this is a very... but, okay, here. If Edok and Dyron gets their pick, this is still a team that for sure can contend to be champions. That's what's going to be punished, though, by most top teams. They're not going to let Dyron and Edok get their picks. I think just watching the MPLID Grand Finals should give a lot of other teams a clue, a blueprint to how to beat RRQ. And for that reason, I'm not going to put them in S tier, but I'm not going to put them lower than a CFU for now. I'm going to trust in RRQ, put them in high A for now. SRGOG. Ooh. Man, I haven't been too popular, amongst Malaysian fans because of the whole debacle of M6. If you guys remember the whole issue with SRG's boss Simon. But this is my non-biased take. I don't hate SRG. I actually am pretty cool with all of the players, the coaching staff as well. So there's no real reason for me to say they're bad or there's more reasons for me to say they're good. Anyways, this one's a tough one because I can't use MPL Malaysia as a proper way to gauge how strong this team is. MPL Malaysia is literally just their training ground. They don't. I don't think they went all out in MPL Malaysia. Honestly, I feel like that was a tournament where they just trolled a lot of times. They picked Nana in the grand finals, some shit like that. Like, yes, it can work, but against top teams internationally, not too sure. They're exciting. They're hungry from losing M6, from not completing the Golden Road. They're back to where they won it all in MSC in Riyadh. So they're definitely going to feel the hunger they did last year. I really hope their form is looking good right now because in MPL Malaysia, it does look good. Internationally, I don't know where that places them. I'm just going to go for the safe route and put them higher than RRQ, but lower than S tier for now, just because of their shaky performances the last year in internationals. Third place in M6 was good. Then the Snapdragon back-to-back, just not doing well. Losing to my GOATs, BTR. How do you lose to my GOATs? They don't qualify for anything, man. So I think that's a big punch to SRG's face. BTR fucking 6th place in Indo, dude. Oh my god, my GOATs. So yeah, really depends on how SRG do. If they fixed a lot of the issues that they've faced in the last few months or not. Because this is the internationals. This is where it really counts for them. MPL Malaysia is nothing for them. I feel, at least. Because they've three-peat right now? Three-peat. They've dominated MPL Malaysia. Homebois. Ooh. Honestly, this is a bit tough. Like, I'm a fan of a lot of the players here. They are ex-EVOS players, Ivan and Vel. Erpang, great coach as well. Ex-Geek Fam coach from M5, now a coach for Homebois. They look really clean in MPL Malaysia when they're not up against SRG. And again, if we're using what we just said about SRG as a reflection to Homebois' performance, I don't think they're going to be anywhere near the top 4. I do believe they are better than Flash SG. I really hope they can prove me wrong and be the dark horses of the tournament. But for now, I'm not too convinced with Homebois' performance locally. And again, this is for most of them their first ever international. So yeah, I think that's also going to play a big part. Erpang is going to have to do some double time work here. Corinthians, I'm sorry, I'm just going to put Corinthians at GG. Nice try. No offense, Louise. The Latam scene is growing. They have Hesu, they have Flick, they have 2 Filipino imports. They're pretty good, but looking at how Influence Rage were pretty bad in the wild cards and how Corinthians dropped, a game or two up against Influence Rage, I'm not too convinced. I think this is another team that we'll probably have to say goodbye to very early on in the tournament. I hope they prove me wrong, as usual. Louise, please do prove me wrong. Mythic Seal. This team is very, very hard to gauge as well. The power of Mythic Seal. The Myanmar teams, the Burmese teams in general, are just very, very hard to read. Last World Championship, the M6 World Championship, Falcon, I actually casted the grand finals of that up against Mythic Seal too. It was a 4-3 win for Falcon. I thought that those games were incredibly messy. I thought those games were very brawly. Zero macro a lot of times. It was just a team fight. But I rated Falcon as just kind of like a team that's all right. I didn't rate them as a S tier, A tier, B tier team. Actually, I rated it as, I think it was like B, high B to A tier. But then we saw what they did at M6. They were the closest team to actually beating ONIC Philippines with Coach RC. So that definitely means that the Burmese improve a lot in the span of like a few weeks when they're preparing for internationals. I trust in my boy Ken. this guy is my boy. He's the Burmese GOAT for me. Not because he's an actual GOAT, not because he actually has won most international tournaments, because that probably belongs to the Burmese schools boys from M2. But he's my GOAT, as in he's my favorite player from Myanmar. Him and, the old guard of Falcon, Yellow Flash, Justin, Ruby Didi, Naomi. Yeah, the boys. And Zipix is in here too. But I'm just going to put Mythic Seal at Dark Horse, because they're always like this, the Burmese teams. You can't really gauge, and I think Dark Horse is a perfect category to put them in. It's a category where they might be able to shock some people. They might be able to do well, but you don't really know. You're not really expecting too much from them, but they can shock you. So Mythic Seal right there. Team Spirit, I'm just going to put them right up there with RRQ. I don't know if they're better or worse than RRQ. They might actually be better than SRG. I might go, you know what? I'm going to go as far as to say that I think Spirit might be better than SRG right now, just because of SRG's recent international decline in form and Spirit's really good change that they made. So now Hiko and One Shot have international experience. They have stage experience in the M6 World Championship. The biggest reason as to why they didn't perform too well from them, I asked this to some of the players on Team Spirit, is because they weren't used to playing on a stage as big as that, with a crowd as big as that. Now that they have that experience, it should be a lot different. And they've actually changed their coach from Vren, Filipino, you guys know him, M5 world champion, to now a Russian coach that speaks Russian. And everybody in the team communicates in Russian. So it should be an easier workaround for everyone, because previously Bomba had to translate English to Russian to everyone else. Now that they all are, synced up, they speak the same language, it does seem like Spirit will be here to shock a lot of you guys. I trust in Spirit. I feel like this team has been just slowly but surely rising to the top. M5, they were 5th. M4, they were 4th. I think now they should be able, or at least I expect them to be able to get top 4 in this tournament, all right? Aurora Turkiye. Man, we're going to have a lot of A-tier teams. This is a really good tournament, man. I'm going to put Aurora at A-tier, but probably low A-tier, just because, again, of their international big dump. Now, after the bomb that was the M6 World Championship, I know what you guys are thinking. Mirko, does Aurora really deserve a A-tier spot? Probably not, but I still trust in them as well. This is a set of players that can do really, really well. Maybe the Swiss stage was just not a format for them. Hopefully, with a double elimination format in the group stage, they can perform. Because, again, mechanically, they're amazing. We know that. Macro, they're getting there as well. And now this is literally the Turkish superstar team. They have Sigiboom, a player that I feel was better than Sunshine. The only downgrade I feel is the only downgrade I think is a downgrade is the XP lane. I think Alien was better than Lunar, but Lunar is part of the roster now. So we'll see how it works out. They also have the help of MTB and Dexter. To Filipino fans, I don't know if that's a bonus, if that's good, or if it's bad, because, again, a lot of people have contributed Aurora's loss in the playoffs to MTB and Dexter just not doing well as coaches. I don't know. I'm just gonna trust them for now. If they don't do well in this tournament, I'm gonna have to drop them by a lot next tournament. But for now, I'm going to stick to my gut here and say we're probably gonna see a very competitive group stage where Aurora can hold their own. So there you go. Ultra Legends, another team that it's so sad to see these teams go to GGNT, because I really don't want to place them in GGNT. Twisted Minds, the Twisted Minds lineup that played for Falcons in the wildcard was pretty bad. I don't know what the hell happened to them. They lost all their confidence, all their individual flair, everything that made them cool in the previous World Championships. And it made me think less of Ultra Legends. Yes, they did beat them, but it was a very, very close series. So it feels like they're not that much better than Falcons. Yes, they've had more time to prepare as well, but these are 5 randoms, just like the final call for the MPL MENA Grand Finals. These are 5 randoms who won. It's impressive. It's amazing. They've done something that only happens in anime, only happens in movies. But maybe the World Championship level, the international level, isn't their level. By the way, MSC is not a world championship. Just saying. Sorry. Yes. Oh, man, yeah, I'm just gonna say Ultra Legends. I'm sorry. I hope you pull off a BTK like M3. DFYG, my goats. Super Ken is playing in this lineup, so you know that they're already the best team in the world. All right, no questions asked. No, okay, wait. I'm sorry. DFYG. This is a bit biased, because I think if it wasn't for Super Ken, I would literally just put them in B. But I'm also leaning on the fact that M6 wildcard, DFYG played incredibly in the wildcard. They did an amazing job. We all know about the whole lag issue where Zed froze and where Ulfedner was able to capitalize on it. But yeah, I feel with Super Ken coming into the roster, it has strengthened them a lot more. Zed now is I think roaming for the team. So for DFYG, it looks like, if there is a time for China to finally show up in a tournament, it's here. It's been a while. All of our expectations have been kind of slow. We expected China to be stronger much sooner. It's been a few years, and we still haven't seen China, do too well on the international stage. So this is the last year that I will try to give China the benefit of the doubt. Then after that, we're just gonna have to see how they perform. We're gonna see it by stats. But yeah, I'll put them in dark horse just because there's a slight chance. Long is really, really good. We saw how good he could be in the wild card. Super Ken, Prodigy, Keel VJ, MSC champ actually. So he's coming in with a lot of experience. Last but not least, TLPH. And you guys already know where I'm going to put them, even before I put them there. This meta is about XP carries, utility jungles, carry mids. They probably have the best components to actually fill the win conditions of the current meta. They have the best utility jungler in the world. They have the best XP laner in the world. And they have a mid laner that can be the best in the world depending on the day. Why I say that is because I think the best mid laner title right now is super, super stacked. We have Sanji, obviously, Sans, Friends, Stormy. Oh, there's a lot of mid laners that can actually, take number one on any given day. We are blessed to be seeing such a high level of play in the mid lane in MSC. Because if there's a specific lane that I'm going to look at for the most part in MSC, in the previous MSCs and internationals, it's always been gold lane, jungle, gold lane, jungle. I think now we're back to seeing mid lane. Friends, Friends, Sans, Sanji, and Stormy. They're actually technically all S's, Super Friends, Sans, Sanji, and Stormy. But yeah, I don't really need to explain, do I? I already did explain, but I don't need to go into deep details as to why I think TLPH are there. Also, they've got an amazing roamer that you guys love to hate, but we've never doubted, okay? It's JP's fault that they are here, and JP, I feel in this meta, should pop off. That's it for the tier list, though. What do you guys think? I'm not going to reorganize. I think I'm happy with where we are at currently. Oh, what the fuck? Where's Virtus Pro? Oh, no. All right. I'm sorry, Virtus Pro. I thought you were here. All right. I'm going to put Virtus Pro in B. All right. For everybody who's watching right now and you want to know my opinion on Virtus Pro, I'm just going to put them in B. I think their wildcard performance is all right. Like, they did really well in the wildcard. They didn't really drop too many games. It didn't really look too shaky, but clearly they do struggle when they lose early. They're very, early game centric. If they get the early game, they snowball out of control. But if they lose the early game, it's very difficult for them to come back. And again, against all these teams, they're very, very inexperienced. None of them have international experience. Not even Endoryu, their Filipino import. Zara Egoist, I think we're going to have to wait for VP to get one more year in before they do really well. So when Zara Egoist starts play, maybe we'll see them rise up. But for now, I'm going to put them in B. Lower than Flash, maybe in the same level as Flash. Who knows? But B tier. So yeah, that's it for the tier list. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you agree with the Mirko tier list? Do you disagree with the Mirko tier list? What do y'all think? Because it's MSC time, baby. Hope you guys enjoyed the 5-minute video where I explained about all the teams. And hopefully you guys enjoy this video where we talk about every single team, giving them, the place in the standings and explaining about the strengths and the weaknesses. Thank you. See ya next video.